Our first panelist is an Oscar-nominated actress and the author of two, not one, two new books, Out Came the Sun and Invisible Girl. Please welcome Mariel Hemingway.
Thank you.
Mariel, thanks for being here.
So much.
And our second panelist is an actor and a comedian best known for playing anchorman Ron Burgundy's bawdy sports guy, Champ Kine. Give it up for David Koechner. I'm glad you are here.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of both of you.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Yeah.
You don't mind if I speak for you?
Oh, no, please do. You did when I first met you, so.
How's she feeling? Is she nervous? Is she liking me?
She loves you.
Oh, good, good.
How could she not? We've worked together before.
Yes, we have.
On what?
Saturday Night Live. It's my first episode. She
That's
was
right.
the first host of this 95 season.
I introduced the whole the first, Will Ferrell, you, Sherry O'Terry, I can't remember.
Mark McKinney, Nancy Walls.
That's right.
I can't remember either.
And I made out with all the women, and I just kind of brushed off all of the guys. You have to know my history. Don't.
All right, I have to put a pin in
know.
that for a second there. Hold on a second. Can't let that skip by. You made out with all the women?
Yes.
On the show or backstage? Or?
No, on the show. That was
okay.
part of the intro.
That was the
Oh, okay.
intro.
I didn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of your previous movie experience.
Yes.
Personal
yes.
best. I'm
thank
familiar with Robert Town's
Thank
slow
you.
motion jumping over the
Yes.
high jump.
Bobby
And then
Town?
Roseanne.
Yes.
I kissed Roseanne.
That's true.
Too. Yes.
That's true.
And then backstage with my wife.
God.
I missed it. I was out here doing the warm-up, and I missed that stuff. Anyway, let's talk about some stories. This is actually more fascinating, but let's talk about some stories.
Okay.
One of the big stories that made news this week was the TSA. Did you see the story? That
Yes.
they had some internal investigation that showed that 95% of the time they failed to get weapons or fake bombs coming through.
Why am I not surprised?
That was my question. My question is, does this scare the shit out of you, or is this what you expect?
I kind of am not surprised. I mean, I think there's been a time when, I think that I have traveled with my boyfriend and he's put a knife in by accident, to cut an apple or something, and they haven't found it. That's disturbing.
But they always get my nail clipper.
Yes. And they make you throw away almond butter, which they say is liquid. It's not, by the way.
Nut allergy? Nut allergy?
No, not allergy and not liquid. I mean, I can do this. If it doesn't pour out, then I'm sorry, it's not a liquid. Don't you think?
I do. If you can't pour it, it's not a liquid. That's
That's
a fair assessment.
What do they say are causing these? What are the symptoms here? So, all right, we know there's a failure.
Yeah.
We know why.
I'm asking you, what do you think is the failure?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a government agency that's way too large.
Yes.
It's like the post office. Have you ever lost mail?
Once or twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's too large an organization to succeed, right? And then my guess is once you're inside there, it's very hard to manage, because how many times have you been through any line? You're like, why aren't you just putting more people on right now? This is clearly a peak time. Let's manage this better. I'm not normally an advocate of corporatizing anything, because corporations are psychopaths. We all know that. But in this instance, this might be something that would be better off privatized, because if something didn't work at that point of entry, I wouldn't do business with them any longer. So,
There you go.
But anyway, but
I think
don't
we should
applaud
be
for
like-
corporatizing anything.
Yeah.
But no, privatizing is not normally the answer, but clearly it's a poorly run government agency.
I think we should be like the Israelis and just put a guy with an AK-47 on the plane that just, everybody's going to behave themselves.
Liam Neeson on every flight.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you think this is more for show anyway? Do you think the TSA ever was designed to actually stop people?
No,
or do you
I
think-
actually do believe that they're very serious about their job. And, as a very frequent flyer, I want to be very, very careful. I love you. Please be nice to me in that line. But it is dangerous,
Are
right?
they ever not nice? Do you get special treatment because you're
No.
famous?
Oh, no.
people?
Actually, I think it's quite the opposite. I think they want to show you that they have power over you and that you're no one. Like, take your clothes on. Like, we're going to pat you down. Like, oh.
I'd like to also say, so they did their percentage comparison based on what? The number of times they tried to get something through?
Yeah, they did a test. They sent in Homeland Security agents undercover. I think it was
wow.
something like 75 times they went in, 67 times they didn't get it.
Like real weapons? Like
No, well, fake bomb, but
But
yeah.
like stuff that
stuff,
they should have
guns,
seen.
bombs.
Well, here's the thing, though. How many things do they catch? That's what they didn't report. We don't know how many things that didn't get through.
Yeah.
So that's the other part of the equation. They're not.
On this test, I think it was,
Okay, but just in life.
general.
In life, in general. So this is one particular set of a mean,
Yeah.
right? But what about the whole aggregate of it, right? So we have to look at that. How many things actually get prevented? That's not reported on. There's only one slice of one thing
Do
that's
you think that
reported on.
something actually does get, I think it would get reported, don't you?
I do. But that's the other thing.
I mean, are we?
I mean, I'm a fan of complete transparency and openness, but
Yeah.
95%, I don't want this to be told to the terrorists.
Yes,
Right?
exactly. I totally
Loose lips
agree.
blow up planes or something. There's a
Or something
different rhyme.
like that.
Yeah,
But-
that didn't rhyme at all.
Well, it doesn't matter. The point was made.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I appreciate it. Now, when you travel, do you prefer the full body scan or the pat down?
I always opt out because I think that they're going to find out that full body scan is like a total, like they're making you sick. Not to mention they can see through you. I don't like that. Right? I think that's weird.
I request the pat down.
But that you're doing it for other reasons.
Yeah.
There's no question, but yeah.
No, but I do the same thing. I asked one guy, because I fly very, very
you fly
frequently.
too much, it's scary.
And I said, if you were me, would you go through? And he goes, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Exactly.
But the thing is, whenever
But some people try to tell you, but it's not, there's no radio waves. What is it? And it's less than being in the plane itself. I'm like, well, I'm going to be less than less.
The other thing is they also try to shame you. I always say, I'd like the pat down. They yell, opting out.
Yes.
Opting out. And then I always say, no, I'm not opting out of the scanner. I'm opting into the pat down.
Yes, I'm opting in.
It's just reframing. Okay, another story. Wait, before we do, you know what they actually are good at, the TSA? We know that they're not good at catching these tests.
Pat downs?
No. Yeah, they're actually good at the Instagram. Yeah, they have an account.
Seriously?
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, listen, and they have their own hashtag TSA good catch. And they put up all of the stuff that they, you got this gun that they captured. This is what you were talking about.
This is what you were talking about. So they
Who was
do
on this?
actually.
Was this the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle guy? He was trying to fly?
This is
Batman was trying to fly?
Nice.
They have the skull. Look at this. The skull blade.
Wow.
And then the skull. Look, the throwing stars.
Yes.
And then, of course, they
Wow.
got this one. Now, here's my question. It's like, oh, honey, I forgot I had the meat cleaver in my pocket.
Yes.
Like your husband, I forgot the meat cleaver.
Yeah,
honey.
but that's not for cutting an apple. Like, that's serious
That's
stuff.
a butcher.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It was just a butcher. See, you're an optimist.
Could be an art.
such
Could
a
be an artist.
kind
Here's the
person.
thing, though. I mean, a knife's not going to get too far. I know they did before, but everybody,
I know they did
no one's
before.
going to. Not too dark, but nobody would stand for it anymore. If it's a blade, there's going to be 10 people, 20 people out of their seats very quickly. So, but I mean, a handgun is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's sad that lost. But this does show that they have found some things.
They're getting. But should they avoid? I mean, it's like, do they need to have a Twitter account? Shouldn't they just focus on getting the bad guys
Yes.
instead of tweeting?
Yes.
Or,
But
you know?
isn't
Oh,
that,
this is good for the
And like
Insta.
you said, do we really want them to know what we are getting and not getting? And now I know what we can put in.
Exactly.
But it's good propaganda to show that you can't get away
We are
with
getting
everything.
stuff.
Although my guess is that bad guys probably aren't following TSA on Instagram.
I don't
Probably
know.
not.
I think they're very social media savvy.
Yeah.
According to the, anyway, let's go to our second story. Is it finally time for so-called female Viagra?
Oh.
The FDA is one step closer to approving what they're calling the.
So wrong.
Okay, that's what I want to ask you.
Okay.
Is this a real need?
Thank you for asking me. by
Well,
the
I'm
way.
sorry. Sorry. Now, really, is this a need, or is this one of those cases where they're faking it? They're making up the need, kind of like, shaken leg syndrome or whatever that thing is, right? You're not familiar? You haven't seen?
Yeah. Restless
leg,
and
yes.
shaking leg.
I thought shaking leg. It sounded better.
Shaking like that's a different
That's
one, but very
awesome.
close.
Yeah,
Very, very
that
close.
hasn't been approved.
Right.
Yes.
That you still have. If you have shaken leg,
Yes.
you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
You're not
actually get
helping.
shaken leg from Viagra.
Ah.
But that's a
That's the
different-
third leg. Yeah,
that's
sorry,
a different
sorry,
leg. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
You set him up. I got
Yes.
So you were about to say, though, that this is bullshit.
I just think that it's wrong to try to medicate what's supposed to be a beautiful experience. Like, let's create a false something. And there's lots of natural aphrodisiacs out there. And I think for women, I think that's later.
Later. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
But do you think, this is the thing in America?
I just think that's weird.
A pill for every
A
ill.
pill for everything. It's wrong. There's something about
Bad
it
news.
that's just not okay.
And the question, you really have to think, like you said, is there a female demand for this particular product? Because, or is it a guy going, I don't know what's wrong with my old lady?
I think that's the case.
Mines wants it. I want her to want mines. So I want my doctor to put something inside her so I can put something inside her. So really, is the irony here still one larger way for a man to get inside of a woman?
That's exactly right. It's all wrong.
But the whole point of all of this sexual behavior truly is the relationship. You can't
what's
do
wrong
that
with
with
the
a pill.
relationship?
Because
Exactly.
my guess
Exactly.
is when you're past you're on streaming, when you're past your prime fuck time,
Yes.
shouldn't it all be cuddles anyway?
Wait, okay. But, if I've read my biology correctly,
Yeah.
a male's prime fuck time is 19. I don't want to give it all up.
Well, but if you
But
know,
lifestyle has a lot to do with that. If you're not living in a proper lifestyle, your sex drive at whatever age is going to go down. So it's really like, how are you eating? What are you doing? Are you exercising? All these things. It's like we're in a society. It's like, let's take a pill. Let's just take a pill. Because I don't want
We
to
gotta
deal with it.
Not be so stressed, not be so busy.
Yeah, whatever. But let's not be so stressed. Let's not be so busy. Maybe let's think about our life and change that a bit.
No, the guy that you were doing comedically, but don't you think
It's really
that
me.
that was really you?
that's how this is the character I'm playing now.
I don't think so. I
other
met,
guys are-
I met your wife, and you have, I think, 100 children.
Yeah.
So obviously she doesn't.
But don't
need
you
it.
think there's this myth that men want it all the time, women don't? Isn't that just a way that men try to keep women down because they know that they're completely inadequate to satisfying the real sex
Whoa.
drive of a woman?
Oh, thank you. I thought you were going the other direction. I was like confused there for a second.
No,
yeah.
I think this is patriarchal bullshit that men
maybe.
realize that they got one, maybe 10-minute thing in them, and the women very expansive.
But don't men think about it constantly?
Thinking
Isn't that
about
it?
Careful how you answer.
What do you answer?
Define constantly.
You.
Like now?
Like
now?
It's constant.
Like
yeah.
now.
But here's the thing.
Like now.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking about David, and I don't
In
feel
that
about you
way?
in that way. No, not yet. I take a little time to warm up. I'm past my prime fuck time. Now, here's a serious thing, though, on this front.
No, let's stay there.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
There is a drug company influence on this. That's
Of
the
course.
thing. They developed
course
it,
there
and then they
is.
hired a lobbyist who got
You're also
women
going to
say-
find out that there's going to be like side effects.
Oh, yeah,
to
there
that.
is.
Yes.
It lowers your blood
Completely.
pressure.
And it's going
and
to
it-
do something horrible to you. 'Cause
Right.
I'm sure that Viagra does something horrible to men, too. I'm sure it destroys your organs or does something. I mean, I'm
David,
sure.
do you feel that? Are you worried
Yeah,
about
you know
that?
what? You guys have dirty minds.
I don't use it like that. We have 5 kids, so I don't need it anymore.
I see that. Yeah. Oh, you're done. You're back to cuddle time.
No, well, look, here, all I care about is the longevity of it. Is a pill going to make your relationship last longer? Maybe for some people, maybe not. But that can be certainly tended to in a lot of different ways rather than taking a pill. And your point being that, is this a manufactured need or is this a real need? Is there a real female demand? I don't
think so.
Right.
I really don't. I mean, I don't think so.
Right. You don't hear it. Plus, not only that, it's not like Viagra in that Viagra says, all right, you take this pill and you can have sex within X number of hours. My understanding with this pill is you had to be on it for a while, which will supposedly increase your desire for him inside you.
But microscopically. Speaking of Viagra.
Microscopic. What? I'm sorry. Was that
Nothing.
Was that untoward?
No.
Does it happen a different way? What's going on?
I'm just washing myself of those thoughts.
Don't watch yourself. Let it go. We're live streaming. Let it go.
She's washing anything I've said off. Whatever he said makes me feel this way. No, but I mean, there's not a female demand for this.
No, there isn't. I totally agree. And I also think that it's just a case of like pills being the answer to all of our problems. And it is. It's a pharmaceutical that it's like, yeah, we can make a lot of money.
Right.
Doing that. And that's what it's about. Ultimately, at the end of the day, they want to make a lot of money.
Yes. Yeah. May I ask you a question? Would you rather have a pill for female Viagra or a pill that makes a man shut up and listen?
Beautiful, man. That was beautiful.
The sound guy's so mad at me right now.
Is he still on? Is he still mic'd?
cheap.
We can still hear him? Okay.
Still mic'd. These
Now,
are not cheap,
if
but
you
I'm
watch
taking
any
this home.
sporting event,
Yes.
you've seen the Viagra commercials, right? Let's look at these for a second here. Oh, yeah, he can't get his lighter to work. That's the problem. The lighter won't work. Yeah. Oh, but when she steals the cake, boing, very excited. Look at him. He's very excited suddenly. And, of course, you always do that. You always sit next to your wife in a separate
tub
Yeah.
outside.
There's one of these commercials where a couple of the guys look similar, and then they're always with these other women. I would love to see one of these commercials where there's a guy with just multiple women. Viagra, whenever you want, with whomever you want.
Okay, David, what would the female Viagra commercial look like?
The artist is escaping me, who paints a lot of flowers.
Oh, yeah.
Georgia O'Keeffe.
Georgia
Thank you.
O'Keeffe.
Yes, it would be Georgia O'Keeffe.
That's it.
Unfurling.
No, just open
Already.
and growing.
Just already
Yeah.
out.
Oh, it'd be it'd be a Venus flytrap.
Oh, no.
And at the end it'd go, watch out, I'm ready. I don't know. I didn't know I was going to be asked.
No, she's sipping tea and the flower is opening.
Or it'd just be a girl walking around in a bar. Hi, I'm a cougar. I don't always feel like it, but when I do, I go out to the bar and look for the youngest piece of meat in it.
Pill. Take the pill. And
Take the pill and
Yes.
see.
That would be this. A week ago, I started taking this pill, so I'd be ready for this moment tonight.
Yeah.
And I am ready.
Now, I would be remiss if I had you here and didn't ask a couple questions specifically to Mariel. I want to ask you, you've written 2 books.
Yes, I have.
Yes. And interestingly enough, they're the same story. It's your personal story, as you subtitle this one, Out Came the Sun, Overcoming the Legacy of Mental Illness, Addiction, and Suicide in My Family.
Yes.
Now, and then you've written it for a young adult audience.
Yes, I have.
So when you take this story and transpose it for a younger audience, how do you, sort of hit that gap where you're giving them information but not condescending to them like you're talking down, oh, you can't handle the...
Well, actually, I did it. I sort of, maybe it was the actor in me. I went into the mindset of being, 14, 15, 16 years old and looking back on my childhood because that was the most confusing time for me. I loved my family. I loved where I grew up, but my family, they were troubled. And I didn't always understand what it was that I was going through or what it was that they were doing. So I did it sort of in a journal form, and it's really, and I asked questions at the end of each chapter from my perspective as a child, maybe your parents really do love you even though they don't pay attention to you, whatever it is. I tried to not at all be condescending because it's not a telling kids what to do. It's just coming from that perspective of what they might be feeling and trying to answer that. And also, so it's called Invisible Girl because that's how I felt as a kid. I felt invisible. And I wanted to give voice and make kids feel like they're seen and heard and understood, especially when it comes to we all have families and nobody's perfect, but just to understand that they're not alone. I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's really important.
Now, that's great to have that perspective because to look back, it's so hard to look back.
Yes.
And a journal's such a perfect way to do it because it's so personal.
Yeah.
And to offer this personal journey at that point is really important because like my daughter is 13, and I'm sure she's going through that spot of they have no idea what I'm going through.
Right.
And she reads a lot of young person novels.
Yeah.
So and then having some knowledge that you've gone through it and gone back and looked at it, it's got to be wonderful.
Oh, I mean, it was really actually very healing for me as well, but any young person that's read it really relates to it. And I don't have the same stories as your daughter, but there's an understanding of of what's going on, because emotionally it's a crazy time. Hormones are changing. You're like, you just don't know. You don't really know who you are, and you have no life experience to like compare it to. Because then Out Came the Sun is my life, and I can compare it to other things that are happening, and it's a journey that has a completion. But when you're young, it's very hard to find.
Especially for you, because really, you growing up, it was never kind of your life. It was you were associated with someone super famous.
Right.
I mean, an icon. So that further doesn't allow you to have your own personal experience.
Right.
So
in some ways. Wow. That's, so sweet.
He's going to go on a tour with Mariel now to find the books.
I knew that I might know something and have an insight.
David.
Yes, sir.
You.
Uh-oh.
I've been, I do research. Yeah, I prepare for this.
Good.
I know it doesn't show, but I do. And I see that you are on the Instagrams quite a bit. We talked about the TSA. Let's look at one of your Instagram things here.
When someone asks me to participate in a project, any project, I have one response. What are the deets? Do you have any deets on that?
What are the deets?
I'm gonna need some deets. Deets. I need some deets.
Now, give us the deets on this. You are doing this quite frequently.
All right, I'll tell you
Is there
why.
money in this, David?
No.
Or is this,
I'll tell you why. You want the honest answer?
I do.
I don't care about social media. I really don't. Okay. And so recently, because I'm in show business, my publicist said, all right, I'm going to challenge you. You just have to do something every day. So about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm like, I don't know. So that's what happened.
It's all her fault.
Well,
There you go.
I was just like, I don't care, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just doing this. Hey! All I care about is my 2 oldest kids go, Dad, what's that? But they always favor it. They always like it.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Everybody, please, big thank you to our panel guests. Check out Mariel's books, Out Came the Sun, Invisible Girl, and be sure to catch David. He's going out on his stand-up tour. You can find out more info on davidkoechner.com. And obviously, follow him on Instagram if you want the deets. Hey, thanks for watching.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click here for more videos.
And make sure to catch new episodes Friday at 9 p.m. on HuffingtonPost.com.